speak now to the ANC's spokesperson, Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri, for the party's stance, but also a bit of context to today's events. Good evening, Mahlengi. Thanks very much for your time. The ANC met with the former speaker, according to the first Deputy Secretary General of the party. What did you speak to her about?
Well, as I understand it, and good evening, Vuyo, and good evening to the viewers of your station. As I understand it, it is the Integrity Commission of the African National Congress that met with Comrade Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, and I am aware that the Integrity Commission came to a particular conclusion that is currently being processed through the office of the Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, that it just is a direct response to your question. Secondly, I do wish to assure South Africans, members and supporters of this movement, the ANC, that the ANC is doing everything in its power to ensure that the stability of the institution of the democratic parliament is safeguarded and there is no instability in as far that is concerned. Thirdly, to also applaud Comrade Nosiviwe for not waiting for the ANC to react in any particular manner, which I'm not privy, whose details I'm not privy, because that's a report of the Integrity Commission, but has voluntarily stepped aside. And I think this is something that we expect all our members, regardless of their social station and their political station in society, to do.
Now, in your statement yesterday, you lauded her for seeking to protect the reputation of her organization, your organization, the African National Congress, to which she dedicated more than 30 years of service. But then, as many analysts have since pointed out, she was forced to do this. She only resigned when she lost a court case.
Well, that is granted. I do believe that South Africans also do appreciate that everyone has got the rights in law, and none have to be denied that freedom to exercise their rights in law. And I do believe that I think we should applaud, we should actually allow anybody else to be able to do so without fear or favor. That is in line with her stepping aside, is in line with the project of the renewal of the ANC, which is running full steam ahead. And as I say, that none is treated differently regardless of their social station in society or within the African National Congress.
I think the point...
So the lauding of Comrade Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula is balanced with the fact that it is the ANC that comes first. Mm-hmm. And it is more than the ANC. South Africans come first.
I think the point critics are making is that she wasn't as proactive as you say in your statement. In other words, it was circumstances that actually forced her to take this action. In other words, she didn't think about the ANC and the people of South Africa first, certainly not before she attempted to get a court to be to rule in her favor.
Well, I'm not at liberty really to make that kind of a value judgment on the issue. Where we are sitting and where certainly as the spokesperson of the ANC, I'm sitting with a situation where she has basically taken leave of absence as Speaker, as the first presiding officer of Parliament, and I'm sitting here now where she's actually tendered her resignation as the Speaker, and I'm looking at the full set of facts. She still has to go through the motions of various judicial institutions. She needs to allow the ANC the space to do its work both as a caucus in parliament as well as the ANC as a movement, as an organization. And that is really the full set of facts that I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with what the opiners are saying, because there are many other opiners that are speaking on the same matter and in support of the steps that she has taken. Whether she did that on time, I suppose that is a conversation, of course, that can be had, by many role players in society. But officially, on the part of the ANC, we are comfortable that she has done the right thing. We're also comfortable that this is not going to harm the election campaign of the ANC, something that I've been asked about in the past while about whether this is going to harm the elections campaign of the ANC. I want to stress that that is not possible, because the ANC is on the ground.
Well, speaking of harming the ANC's election campaign, it would have been untenable, wouldn't it have been? For the ANC to have stuck with her, continued to support her while you are right in the middle of an election campaign, an election, it should be said, where you have lots and lots of pressures, the ANC that is, on its own. People predicting in certain instances that for the very first time we could see the ANC coming under 50%.
Well, I'm not certain, Vuyo, that who the people are that you're referring to. I am aware of various pollsters, and you really just need to have a quick look at the backstory of those polls and the surveys and their results, and where the sources of funding of those pollsters are coming from. All I can say, though, with utmost modesty, is that the ANC is interacting with the people of South Africa. For us, those are the pollsters. And I think that it is important to balance the narrative that is pervasive, that suggests that the ANC is going to come under 50%. We don't believe so. And why do we not believe so? Is because of our experiences on the ground in our campaign trail. Our campaign trail continues this weekend, and again, you are going to see a lot of South Africans, particularly the working class and the poor, coming out and saying, today I've got an RDP house, today I'm able to actually take my kids to the school, today I have a graduate in my home, in my family, as a result of the NSFAS contribution. Today I'm able to feed my granny precisely because there's water in my yard. So for us, the real surveys are the ones that the people of South Africa, the ordinary people of South Africa, are going to actually demonstrate when we go to the polls.
To end off this conversation, a hypothetical question, perhaps, what would the ANC have done had she not resigned?
Well, the ANC would have invoked its constitution. When somebody is alleged to have performed certain acts that are contrary to what the ANC stands for, they get called to the Integrity Commission. And I did indicate earlier that Comrade Nosiviwe has already appeared before the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission has already made a particular finding, which is currently sitting with the Secretary General, who is currently out of the country, and I'm sure upon his return, he is going to process it together with national officials that are going to be meeting on Monday, as is standard, and then processes of the ANC kick in. We are an organization that really works on internal democratic processes and not on the basis of hearsay. And it was important to allow the Integrity Commission the space that it requires as a constitutional organ of the ANC to process these matters with as much impartiality and with as much objectivity as is required. Vuyo.
A question I am still going to ask her lawyer who is also scheduled or supposed to be talking to us, but we can't get hold of him at the moment. Today, Advocate Graham Kerr Phillips told the court that there is a political motive behind the Speaker's prosecutions. Are you aware of any, or has she shared any information with the ANC about this political motivation behind the prosecution?
We are absolutely unaware of that. I can speak as in my capacity as the national spokesperson of the ANC. I'm not aware of any type of something untoward in that particular direction. All I can say that all are free before the rule of law. And I think the ANC, even in our statement yesterday, we underscored the point that the rule of law and the firmness of our constitutional democracy is sacrosanct.
Mahlengi Bhengu-Motsiri, thank you very much for your time.